The guy's just disgusting. I mean, he's not just, he has no talent. He's not liked. Obviously, he was fired for a reason.
Sleazy, disgusting, and smarmy. If you're one of my trolls, you might think that I'm self-describing. But I'm not. Last night on Hannity, Stephen Miller went on a jag about Stephen Colbert. And look, you cannot think Stephen Colbert is funny. You can have whatever opinion about Stephen Colbert, but smug or smarmy and sleazy and disgusting, they're not accurate descriptors for Stephen Colbert, who is a genuine, decent man, an absolute legendary talent, which is another thing that Stephen Miller says in this clip, that he's not even talented and no one likes him and that's why he got fired and it was justified and all this other just abject projection on the part of Stephen Miller, who many would think is sleazy, disgusting, and indeed smarmy. Watch this clip, and then we're going to jump in a time machine. You and I, we're going to go back through from August last month and July, and then even deeper into the past of sleazy, disgusting, and smarmy Stephen Miller. First, though, here he is really just shitting on Stephen Colbert.
He's on top of it 24/7. I also said, look, Colbert's a slime ball. The guy's just disgusting. I mean, he's not just, he has no talent. He's not liked. Obviously, he was fired for a reason. But he's just a sleazy, disgusting, smarmy guy. And look, it takes a lot to make me really despise somebody. Or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But Colbert is really, he's a horrible person, Sean.
All of that is because Stephen Colbert criticizes the fascist president of the United States, Donald Trump. A man who has been, it's been ruled by a court of law that he sexually assaulted a woman. He's been charged or accused by more than 24 women of assaulting them sexually. We heard him on tape say, oh yeah, when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything you want and grab them by the pussy, said Donald Trump. That's not disgusting or sleazy at all in the mind of Stephen Miller. And maybe that's because Stephen Miller is those adjectives. Here he is just a few weeks ago in August and I got some good ones, so stick around. If you've seen this, there's a timer above the clip or in the clip, you can just scroll ahead. But here he is acting, whatever the opposite of sleazy, disgusting, and smarmy is. Here he is describing the 90-year-old smelly idiot hippies, stupid hippies or whatever, who are protesting. I guess I'm one of them since I've been out in front of Union Station protesting the military occupation and invasion of the city. Here he is being real decent and loving and kind about people exercising their free speech in the city of Washington.
And the voices that you hear out there, those crazy communists, they have no roots, they have no connections to the city, they have no families they're raising in this city, they have no one that they're sending to school in this city, they have no jobs in this city, they have no connections to this community at all. But they're the ones who've been advocating for the 1%, the criminals, the killers, the rapists, the drug dealers. And I'm glad they're here today. Because me, Pete, and the Vice President are all going to leave here, and inspired by them, we're going to add thousands more resources to this city to get the criminals and the gang members out of here. We're going to dismantle those networks, and we're going to prove that a city can serve for the law-abiding citizens who live there. We are not going to let the communists destroy a great American city, let alone the nation's capital. And let's just also address another thing. All these demonstrators that you've seen out here in recent days, all of these elderly white hippies, they're not part of the city and never have been. And by the way, most of the citizens who live in Washington, D.C. are black. This is not a city that has had any safety for its black citizens for generations. And President Trump is the one who is fixing that with the support of the Metropolitan Police Department, the support of the National Guard, and our federal law enforcement officers. So we're going to ignore these stupid white hippies that all need to go home and take a nap because they're all over 90 years old, and we're going to get back to the business of protecting the American people and the citizens of Washington, D.C.
Thank you, Stephen. A few questions.
Go home and take a nap, he says. These stupid white hippies all need to go home. Sleazy, disgusting, and oh yeah, definitely smarmy. Let's go back 1 month from that. Here's July, where he's talking about 13, 14, and 15-year-old children who are being abused on a daily basis because Democrats, the Democratic Party, trafficked them. Seems totally above board. Definitely not sleazy, disgusting, or smarmy.
We have example after example. We go to homes, 13, 14, 15-year-old children who are raped on a daily basis because the Biden administration, because the Democrat Party chose to traffic them into this country. So we will be unrelenting in our effort to free these kids.
Yeah, this is a huge story, and the Biden administration tried to push them out of these holding facilities at the border and into the arms of people who were picking them up. There were some cases where one person picked up 150 children.
And look, you might be saying to yourself when you watch this, yeah, but he's just starting to act like this because he's so frustrated. I don't think people are doing that. It's a rhetorical device to get me to the next clip. I invented my own segue. Here he is. In 2017, you might remember this moment where he's in the White House press briefing room. Donald Trump has just become president of the United States. We're virtually at the same moment right now that we were then. That much time had passed into Donald Trump's first term that has passed in his second now. And he's arguing with Jim Acosta about the norms of our country and what our values are relative to immigration. Remember, this was Donald Trump's first, the hard-on he had about brown people, the Muslim ban, and all of the absolutely anti-American ideals that were being pressed upon us. And Jim Acosta is like, look, the poem at the base of the Statue of Liberty give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. And Stephen Miller really goes at it about as sleazy, disgusting, and smarmily as one can. Watch this, and then we'll go all the way back to high school for Stephen Miller.
Yes. What you're proposing here, what the president's proposing here, does not sound like it's in keeping with American tradition when it comes to immigration. The Statue of Liberty says, give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free. It doesn't say anything about speaking English or being able to be a computer programmer. Aren't you trying to change what it means to be an immigrant coming into this country if you're telling them you have to speak English? Can't people learn how to speak English when they get here?
Well, first of all, right now, it's a requirement that to be naturalized, you have to speak English. So the notion that speaking English wouldn't be a part of our immigration systems would be actually very ahistorical. Secondly, I don't want to get off into a whole thing about history here, but the Statue of Liberty is a symbol of liberty enlightening the world. It's a symbol of American liberty lighting the world. The poem that you're referring to that was added later is not actually part of the original Statue of Liberty, but more fundamentally, the history, but more fundamentally,
you're saying
the
that
history
does not represent.
I'm saying that the notion.
I'm saying the notion that
I'm saying the notion.
Stephen, I'm sorry.
No,
Jim.
Let me ask you a question.
That sounds like some national park revisionism.
No, what I'm asking you is.
The Statue of Liberty
Jim,
has always
Jim,
been
let me ask you a question.
Of hope to the world.
Jim,
for people to send.
Jim, do you believe
people to this country?
Jim,
and they're not always going to speak English, Stephen.
Jim,
they're not
do you
always
believe
going to be highly skilled. They're not always going to be.
Jim, I appreciate your speech. Jim, I appreciate your speech. So let's talk about this.
It was a modest.
Jim, let's talk about this. In 1970, when we let in 300,000 people a year, was that violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land? In the 1990s, when it was 500,000 a year, was it violating or not violating the Statue of Liberty law of the land?
Was it violating?
When it was 700,000 a year. No, tell me what years. Tell me what years. Tell me what years meet. Tell me what years meet Jim Acosta's definition of the Statue of Liberty poem, law of the land.
The Statue of Liberty poem, rule of law. Yeah. This is who he is, and this is who he has always been. Ever since high school, he has been someone who wanted to seek attention for the worst way, in the worst ways. There's a lot of people out there who want to be known or recognized, so they do good and decent things. They act charitably. They're just kind and benevolent, right? And that gets them attention. That gets them notoriety. Not Stephen Miller. Ever since he was a kid, since he was a child, he's been an abject piece of shit. Here he is. This is a little bit of a clip from a longer thing from the Washington Post where they profiled Stephen Miller. And in that profile, they covered his time in high school.
After our story appeared, we were contacted by a high school classmate of Stephen Miller who sent us a copy of a video that had been made about him by his classmates. The video was kind of like a documentary about Miller and the role he had played as an outspoken conservative at his high school.
Hi, I'm Stephen Miller. Some of you may or may not know who I am. We don't have time to get into that right now.
He was running for student government, so this was his speech.
I'm the only candidate up here who really stands out.
It's important to note that we don't have the whole speech. We called Santa Monica, the school district, and asked if they still had a copy of it. They said they've been looking for it, but they can't find it. So all we've got are these couple of short clips that have been included in this video that his classmates had made about him.
I will say and I will do things that no one else in their right mind would say or do.
You can sort of see that he's enjoying riling up the crowd. He's got a smile on his face at various points in time. But he makes this comment, and what he says is,
am I the only one who is sick and tired of being told to pick up my trash when we have plenty of janitors who are paid to do it for us?
I don't know if he's advocating for being thrown out of school, but he is the trash that needs to be picked up by the janitors. This is who he's always been. And it's just, it is rich for someone who is sleazy, disgusting, and smarmy to make that accusation against someone who is absolutely under no metrics sleazy, disgusting, or smarmy. This is pattern and practice. This is standard operating procedure for Republicans, especially the ones who have put on a master class of how to be a projection artist, like Stephen Miller with his, I don't know what's going on with his little twitch. Maybe it's the last vestiges of decency that are escaping as he twitches out. I don't know. Anyway, I love your opinion here. If you're still here watching, I appreciate you very much. You can comment below this video wherever you're watching it. You can also call the voicemail line 714-576-4054. And of course, as always, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. Please consider supporting this work. For as little as $2 a month, you can help produce these videos with me and the team. Click the join button below this video on YouTube to become a channel member, or even better, go over to patreon.com/IDoubtIt podcast. And look, I wouldn't even be sad if you dropped your YouTube channel membership and just transitioned over to Patreon, because they take way less of the money that you intend to help support the show. Anyway, I love and appreciate you very much. I'll see you next time. Be genuine and take care of one another.